Hey guys, my Vernon Kid here, back again. How's everybody doing on their end? Time for another comic review. It is time for another comic review, and we are here in the world of Marvel. And I have been saying, and every time I have seen the preview and I read the preview on Marvel.com, that this character that I have loved for a long time, one of my top 30 characters of Marvel, was finally getting an ongoing, a solo series for the first time in her true solo series in her career. I was down for it. And who is that character? Well, let me show you. That character is Monica Rambeau, aka Photon, Captain Marvel, Pulsar, Spectrum, but now she's back to being Photon. First of all, this cover is just gorgeous. This is just beautiful cover. Just a beautiful, beautiful cover. You can't go wrong with that. Someone who does this, I want to make sure I get the cover artist. This looks like Brian Stelfree's artwork. You could tell. Person knows how to draw a black one. That's gorgeous. That is just gorgeous. So this is written by L.Ewing and Lucas Murcia, and Ivan Florelli does the artwork in there. Now, like I said before, for anybody who doesn't know, or who only knows Monica Rambeau through WandaVision, let me explain a little bit to you. A little bit of Monica Rambeau 101, first and foremost. She was the second Captain Marvel. Before Carol Danvers, Monica was Captain Marvel. Once Captain Marvel, the original, died, she took over. Every name she has had in her career, in her longevity, her 30 plus years, she's given that name up to someone else. In a sense, I'm not even joking about that. She was outside of maybe Photon, because I don't think there's ever been another Photon, but when she was Pulsar, she gave up that name to Marvel's son to use, and of course Captain Marvel later on because Carol. And then she went from Spectrum for a while, and I didn't mind that name. I was like, okay, that name is cool. But now she's back as Photon. For everybody else, once again, who doesn't know what a little bit more. All right, Monica was first of all, she was created by Roger Stern and the great John Romita Sr. I believe it was Sr. Yeah. She debuted in Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 16. And that's where we got to see her origin. She was a New Orleans Harbor Patrol officer, and she helped stop a super machine from exploding. However, in that desperate need of stopping it, she was bombarded and hit with the machine, and it gained her powers. She's like a light spectrum connoisseur, in a sense. Basically, but she's extremely powerful. And I think people sleep on that about Monica. This is a woman who can travel at the speed of light, just instantly be where she needs to be. And they showcase that a lot in this. So what is this about? Once again, this is Monica's true first solo ongoing series. I think it's an ongoing, I believe it's a mini. I believe it's a mini, could be an ongoing. But the fact of the matter is, this is her first. She has had one-shots that the great Dwayne McDuffie wrote back in the day, but outside of that, she's always been a part of a team, and they go in detail about that here. This was a good start. Ewing does a good job of getting people to understand who Monica is, but also giving people who know her just a little bit of a reminder of who she is. You know what I'm saying? So in this first issue, we see Monica doing what she does best, and there's just some great segments in there. She meets up with a couple of her fellow Marvel heroes. There's one, she is traveling back to New York because she needs to give something to Doctor Strange. And before she goes, she drops into a local bodega in New York City, and she's jazzing and chatting with the bodega owner, and she basically says, you know, New Orleans has some of the best food in the world. And the guy says, and she says, but nothing beats a bacon, egg, and cheese from a bodega in New York City. And I can attest to that as a New Yorker. Yes, there ain't nothing better than getting a nice bacon, egg, and cheese on a roll from a bodega. Straight up ridiculous. It's so cool to see that. So she's eating her bodega, she's eating her bacon, egg, and cheese, and then all of a sudden an elderly black couple comes up, and she's like, oh my God, look who it is. It's Captain Marvel. She calls her by Captain Marvel. It is so funny to see this elderly couple. Here it is right here. She basically goes on, she's like, oh my God, can't you believe it, Paul? It's Captain Marvel, the leader of the Avengers. Yes, Monica was the leader of the Avengers. She's like, and Monica's like, oh ma'am, I'm not. And she's like, fought the masters of evil, defeated skinheads. Oh, I used to have all Captain Marvel scrapbooks of every time you were in the newspaper. And Monica's like, wow. You know, and then she goes on to say, travels at light speed, turns into UV rays, X-rays, cosmic rays, and I don't even know what else. Astonishing. And you know, her husband's like, now Joyce, come on now, let's give her some time, let's leave her alone. And she's like, can I get a picture? Can you wait? But Captain Marvel will always be my favorite. I have to get a picture. So she's like, you know, oh, thank you for your support. I am flying solo these days, and I go by Photon now, because like you said, I can turn into. And she's like, of course, sweetheart, but to us, you'll always be Captain Marvel. I thought that was so precious and so cool for Miss Ewing to put that in there. Like, you got an older couple that knows and remembers her by her old name. I thought that was great, and she takes the selfie with her, which is pretty funny. The artwork in this was very good, and then we get a little backstory into Monica, a little bit like when she was a part of the Avengers, and when how much, like, some of the fights she's had when she was leading, and we see her in her old costume right here fighting the Leviathan and things like that. And so she travels to the Sanctorum, the Sanctum Sanctorum, and we see Doctor Strange and Wong having a chess match. And I love how Monica, she's so fast, like it's almost like she just instantaneous movement, like almost like Goku. Just she pops up now, and once again, Miss Ewing is showcasing just how fast this woman is. And you would believe someone who has like light speed powers can do that, just materialize and be right behind her. And she's watching, and Doctor Strange is like, she's having trouble because Wong is about to beat him, and she's like having trouble. And he's like, yep. And he's like, can't you like see into the future of a possible? And you hear Wong saying, that's not fair. and she's there to bring Wong and Doctor Strange the Stone of Hala, and they give a little bit of indication of where you can find the Stone of Hala. They say, you want to read more? Read Ironheart #8. I love when Marvel does that. They give you tidbits of, okay, this is where you can pick up this. And afterwards, they're interrupted. The Sanctorium is being, well, not being attacked, but someone is in that area. And Monica, so they were like, who is it? Anybody we know? And she's like, no, it's just some foldy bendy person right here. And next you know, Monica tries to attack, and she dodges it. Like, as you can see here, she dodges it. And next you know, who shows up when you're in New York, who you think is gonna show up? The homie Spidey. He shows up and he's like, hey, can I help? He's like, I was in the neighborhood and Monica and Spidey fight this giant bendy woman. It is a woman, and they're able to stop it as well because she's able to evade their attacks. And finally Wong helps out, and then all of a sudden Spider-Man recognizes her voice, and he finds out that the woman is a doctor that he knows, Dr. Yisensa Rosario, and she's a brilliant scientist. And once again, it says if you want to know who this person is, okay, read Marvel Team Ups 2019 #1, and you see. And Spider-Man's like, why are you doing this? Why did you do this? Why did you do this? And she goes on, and you got Wong saying, caution, Spider-Man, she could be playing you. And then she just flips out and says, Monica Rambeau's gonna destroy the universe. And he's like, what the hell? It just goes from there. And we see her in her apartment, and she just materializes in her apartment. And then she gets then the rest of the issue is morally about coming of age of her family. We see Monica gets a call from her cousin, and her cousin is having some troubles, and he's talking about, you know, his boyfriend and everything like that, and she's just like, you know, I'll come down to help, you know, and he's like, I don't need your help, just, you know, I need some money and things like that. And then all of a sudden her father gives her a call, and she's like, sounds like you're in trouble, why are you breathing so heavy, you know, things like that. Monica, maybe you should come over and we can talk. And she materializes at her parents' home, and she's like, hi daddy, and they talk and everything like that. And then her mom comes in and she says, oh, is that my baby girl? And she's like, yes mama, hi mama. And they start talking, and her dad is just like, Monica seems to be having you know, she's draining herself in terms of like, you're working too hard, you're saving all these people, but you're not having enough time for yourself. And I love that kind of, they just talking, and then her mom is just like, maybe you should go give Dr. Bashir a call. And if anybody knows who Bashir is, she's talking about Blue Marvel, and she's like, he is not, Adam Bashir is out of the picture, it's not. And her dad is like, good, he was too old for my baby anyway. I'm like, typical father. It was stuff like that was just good. But at a whole, you could see that Monica is kind of, she's not having a lot of time for herself. She's doing everything. I like how she always talks about she is like the MVP of every team that she's been on, and in some degree you can believe that. You know, she's been on a lot of teams, you know, the Avengers, the Thunderbolts, the Ultimates, and Next Wave. You know, she's been on all these teams, and she was like leader, or she was a great MVP in a sense. And then she just flies off into space, and you just see her fly off. She just jettisons. She just leaves her parents' home and just shoots off. And as you can see, she's in space, and she even says, I just need some space. And that's how the issue ends. A good start. This was a really good start, and it makes me wonder, where is this gonna go? And is Dr. Rosario, what is she saying about Monica's gonna destroy the universe? How does she know that? You know, what is gonna happen? This was a really good start. It gave enough for us who know Monica Rambeau a lot to think with, and a lot of us to understand what she's going through. And yeah, when you also look at it from an outsider's perspective, maybe somebody who's only looked at her from WandaVision, you get a more understanding of just how powerful she is, her powers and everything. Like, I think people, when they saw her in WandaVision, they really didn't, you only got a glimpse of what this woman can do. This woman can do so much more, and it makes me wonder, by the time we see her in the Marvels movie, just how in tune in her powers will she be. But I even like that, you know, they still keep the black and white look, which is fine. I don't mind them having that look. It's perfect. But you know, you still see like the Star of Hala in there and things like that. You know, she has her hair now braided, and I like that. I like that look. I mean, like I said, you know, the artwork was just really, really good. You know, here's a great opening scene of just Monica flying across the water, and she even talks about how at one point, even she being a former harbor patrol officer, she was scared of water. And she's from New Orleans. She even says water is a birthright to us. It's crazy. But it was just good stuff. This was really good. I had posted the free digital code on my Twitter. So if you want to check it out, go to my Twitter. If it ain't been used already, go check it out for yourselves. I do recommend people to check this out. If you are a fan of Monica Rambeau, do check this out. And it's not just because she's black. I mean, that's the thing. It's like you got people out here, and I see it a lot, people just supporting characters because of the content of their skin, and I'm just like, do you really know this character? Do you really follow this character? If not, stop. Because I hate that. I hate that. You're not following, you haven't been with this. I have been with this character since I was 13 and reading. I've read almost everything she's been in. I love this character. So to see Monica get shine like this means everything to me, because she is that good. She is talented. She is powerful. She can stand on her own, and she's a leader. She's a born leader, and she don't take a lot of crap from nobody. But yeah, in this first issue, you can see she doesn't really have time for herself. Even when she goes to her apartment, she's trying to relax and drink a little wine and things like that, and then here come the family, you know, and her dad is even telling, like, you know, you need to stay away from your cousin, like, he's got his own demons to fight, you know, you ain't let him fight him on her own. And I love the line she gives, you know, I thought you said we don't abandon family no matter what, and things like that. It's good stuff. This was really, really good. I'm looking forward to what's next. It seems it could, the second issue may tie into maybe some backstory, and when she was leading the Avengers. And that's the thing about Monica, when she led the Avengers, you talk about testosterone level off the chart. You better believe it, because there were a lot of guys on that team. That Avengers team back in the 70s. You know, you had Hercules, you had Black Knight, you had Dr. Druid, you know, characters like that. That was just almost always testing her because of her gender, in a sense. But she was a good leader, and that's the thing. But this was good. This was really good. I recommend it, guys. So outside of that, guys, if I was giving it a rating, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. It was a good start. Nothing too big, you know, but it gave you bits and pieces of what could be coming. It just showcased what Monica can do. Like I said, I love the just popping up places. Like she, you know, you want to talk to her. Oh, okay, I'll be right in a millisecond, and she pops up. You know, not even like a second. It's like milliseconds. They even go into detail, like milliseconds later, and she pops up. Like she popped up in the Sanctorium Sanctum, like no problem. Usually it takes you don't just enter the Sanctum Sanctorum without like being invited. She came in there, and I love what Dr. Strange said. You could have knocked, and she's like, "Where's the fun in that?" It's stuff like that. Well, guys, hope you guys enjoyed. I sure did. Looking forward to reading issue number 2 of Monica Rambeau, Photon. Do I like the fact that she's back under her Photon name? I didn't mind. Like I said, I didn't mind when she was called Spectrum. I understood it. You know, all the different light UV light spectrum waves that she can manipulate. Yeah, it's cool. I hope we see more of her powers, like in terms of her bending the light around her to make her look like somebody else. Yes, Monica can do that. She can disguise herself and make herself look like somebody else, and because she can bend the light around her. It's just the things that she can do with her powers is crazy. She's a powerhouse. Maybe not strength-wise, but raw power, up there. Outside of that, y'all take care.